Okay, hello everyone. On behalf of Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage INTACH and the INTACH Conservation Institutes, I extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished speaker, Faustin Morris, and everyone who has joined us for today's talk in the Conservation Insights 2020 lecture series. I'm Dr. Padma Rohila, Director, ICI Delhi. Now to introduce our speaker, Faustin Morris is an application specialist for cleaning and hygiene technologies with a career spanning over 27 years at Alfred Karcher SE & Co. KG, the leading provider of cleaning technology worldwide. He is presently the project manager, restorative cleaning projects worldwide, and he's been on this position since 2001. Over the years, working on a large number of projects, he has developed knowledge and expertise with many state-of-the-art cleaning tools and methods. For more than 19 years, his work has focused on cleaning technology, application, logistics, and execution of restorative cleaning projects worldwide. He's collaborated closely with monument owners, government authorities, and experts such as scientists, architects, engineers, art historians, restorers, stonemasons, craftsmen, etc., throughout the global restoration community. He has been involved in the restoration of more than 100 sites in Germany and around the world, including the Mount Rushmore, South Dakota in USA, Space Needle, Seattle in USA, glass sculpture at Athens, Greece, the London Eye in London, Euromast, Rotterdam, Netherlands, Nihonbashi Bridge in Tokyo, Japan, Namsan Tower in Seoul, Korea, Noongate Imperial Palace in Vietnam, the Big Buddha in Hong Kong, Havana, the capital in Havana, Cuba, Moras Monument, Pavilions, Forbidden City, Beijing, China, and many, many more. These are just to name a very few. Before I invite Mr. Morris, I'd like to introduce the company, the firm, the Alfred Karcher SE & Co. KG. INTACH, of course, has been interacting with the firm, and we have a long association. But Karcher, to introduce, is the world's leading provider of cleaning technology. The family-owned enterprise is involved with high-pressure and ultra-high-pressure cleaners, vacuum cleaners and steam cleaners, vacuum sweepers and scrubber dryers, dry ice blasting machines, etc. They offer a wide range of innovative solutions. Now, this range includes perfectly matched products and accessories, as well as advice, service, and various digital applications. As cleaning specialists, they have been actively involved in supporting the preservation of historical monuments and buildings free of charge for over 30 years. They have already demonstrated this experience and expertise on over 100 restoration projects worldwide. So no better place to see like today and know about the products through Mr. Morris. Now I invite you for the presentation. Thank you so much for agreeing.
Thank you very much, Padma Rohila, for your introduction. Thank you very much. And a warm welcome to everybody who takes part or is participating today at this lecture from INTACH. So thank you very much. I'm very honored to speak in front of you all. First of all, I would like to show you a short movie to give you a little impression of our technologies and of our company, to give you a better overview about my job and all the surroundings. And please, I apologize from the beginning for any technical problems or
The Alfred Karcher company, based in Winnenden, Germany, is the largest manufacturer of cleaning technology worldwide. With over 1,700 patent applications, Karcher is also the innovation leader in its sector. The success story began in 1935 with one of the most significant German inventors and entrepreneurs, Alfred Karcher. Even today, his two children, Johannes Karcher and Susanne Zimmermann von Sieffert, are contributing modestly as partners to continuous growth. In addition, support of non-profit projects is only natural for them. As part of the cultural sponsorship, more than 180 monuments, statues and buildings all around the world have been cleaned for free. This program was developed 40 years ago to preserve historic monuments with the possibilities that culture has, with the employees, the know-how and the machines. Karcher has, for example, cleaned the chapel of St. Charles and Hubert of the Aachen Cathedral as part of a pilot project with the German Commission for UNESCO. The University of Applied Sciences Stuttgart was serving as a research partner in the Aachen Cathedral project. The team was analysing and documenting the type and extent of the contamination on the facade of the chapel of St. Charles and Hubert. By using the correct method, the goal was to remove only the contamination and not the original surface. The cleaning work is supposed to preserve historic buildings and monuments for future generations. The work is being conducted after a test and research phase and in close cooperation with the owners, the competent authorities, restorers and art historians. Thus, it is guaranteed that each object receives the most suitable cleaning method. In Aachen, the biological growth on the limestone and sandstone surfaces was removed with hot water high-pressure cleaners. Subsequently, the main cleaning was conducted with the particle blasting method. In the hospital church, dust and soot particles were removed chemical-free from monuments and a crucifixion group. A cleaning team trained by Karcher cleaned the cross tower of the votive church in Vienna with a dry ice blaster. At the Greenwood Cemetery, 3 chosen mausoleums were gently freed from mosses, algae and lichens using a hot water high-pressure cleaner. The remaining black gypsum crusts were removed with a low-pressure particle blasting method. Reverend Eberhard Schwartz of the hospital church says, "At first I couldn't imagine how historic stones are being cleaned and was worried how the project would be handled professionally. I have to admit, however, that it was done very carefully and professionally. I was impressed by the different methods used for the cleaning of the stones." Tinsmith Ulrich Sukup of the votive church is also happy. With the dry ice blasting method, we exposed much more than we have seen before. This motivates us to keep going, because there's always the possibility to find something. And Neela Vikramasinghe, Manager of Preservation and Restoration at Greenwood, points out, "One of the key tenets in conservation and restoration is documentation. In order to go forward, we need to know what was there when they started. Karcher did full photographic documentation and made a wonderful report. The steam cleaner stops our dependence on different detergents and biocides and other chemicals that we really don't want to use." With the cleaning projects, Karcher wants to preserve and retain the signature of the original material. Taking care of monuments is of great importance because it preserves their heritage for following generations.
I hope it's getting better now. I would like to continue with my presentation. Okay, first I would like to show you the contents of my little presentation for the next 20 minutes, half an hour. We already have seen this introduction video by my company. I just would like to say it again, that the company Karcher is not a service provider, so you cannot hire us for cleaning jobs or any other restoration works. We are a manufacturer for cleaning machines, and we have additionally, we have cultural sponsoring program since 40 years, where we are cleaning monuments worldwide and where we are supporting conservation and restoration works worldwide for free. First of all, I would like to show you then the different methods for facade and monuments cleaning, especially for stone cleaning. Afterwards, I would like to give you some basics with the thinner circle. Some of you know it, some not maybe. That's basic for cleaning in total, in general. Then we want to talk a little bit about soiling, and then I would like to show you the different major technologies, what we use for stones, monuments and facades and buildings of stone. First, I would like to start, but I'm sure you as conservators and restorers know already the different objectives or reasons for cleaning. There can be a philosophical, or it can be aesthetical, or mainly there are technical reasons why cleaning of surfaces or stone surfaces are necessary. Just two examples from the technical side is that cleaning can be a preparation for scientific studies or additional restoration measures. As everybody knows in that field, that the main soilings can cause damages. Please understand that we sometimes have here also pictures from stand-up cleaning procedures, because a lot of our customers are not from or are not stone conservators and only from a restoration field. But here are some examples for soilings who can cause damages. For example, the black crusts or biological growth can do that, as you know, lichens, for example, and also corrosion. Or another example is these bird droppings on a car, all that have a bad influence on the surface. Here you can see a little list of some, not all, cleaning methods which are used to clean surfaces. There are a lot, and we have only some of them. We are, for example, not a manufacturer of laser and other machines, but we also have vacuuming or ultra high pressure. We also have dry ice, and of course also we have chemicals. But today I would like to show you as I said, three major technologies, which are low and high pressure cleaners, which are steam cleaners, and which is so-called low pressure microparticle blasting. Before we talk about the technologies and the machines, I would like to show you this image to give you a basic knowledge of cleaning. This image shows the four main factors for achieving a good cleaning result. It's called the Sinner's Circle. It was developed by Mr. Sinner, born 1900. He was a chemist working for a German company. Company is called Henkel. He was a developing engineer for detergents, for cleaning detergents. And he found out that these 4 factors, temperature, mechanical, time, and chemical, are important for the cleaning result. So if you take one of these pieces out of this ring, you have to balance it with another one. That means, for example, let's take the temperature. As everybody knows, that if you clean your dishes, with hot water, it's more easy than with cold water. So if you have, for example, now no temperature, so if you have only cold water, you have to balance it with more, or with chemicals, for example, or you need much more time. Or if you have no chemicals to do any job, there has to be the temperature higher, or the mechanical factor, which can be, for example, a brush. So this is the basic with the thinner circle. And additional, you have here this image where you can see that these 4 factors, of course, working together with the different kinds of surfaces and the soiling, the kind of soiling you have. These factors are also, or these images show you the different factors by the different cleaning technologies. So each factor contribution to cleaning increases or decreases based on the soiling and surface. For example, as you can see, I don't know if everybody knows dry ice blasting, but it's a blasting method with very cold ice pellets, -80 degrees. That's why you can see here that the temperature has a roundabout, it's just an estimation, temperature has 25% factor in the cleaning result, and mechanical has the most here, because the impact power of these ice pellets is very high. And on particle blasting, you can see that the mechanical effect is very high, because there is no influence from temperature or from any chemicals, means any detergent or anything. So it's just a mechanical impact of particles, and time in mechanical is here important. On water cleaning, it's a mixture between, of course, mechanical power. The temperature can be an influence, because you can work with cold or with hot water, and chemical can be an influence too, because you can add any kind of detergents if necessary. And the steam cleaner, in the end, has a very high influence on the temperature, because the temperature is here doing the main job. Then let's talk about the soiling. Soiling can stick on the surface with different reasons. So there is forces, there is the electrostatic forces, the adhesive forces, the mechanical bond, and the chemical bond. Mainly on the soilings we find on facades or monuments or stone surfaces are mechanical bond. That means the three-dimensional interlocking action of soiling with an uneven surface. That's the definition. And it can be cleaned very easily, so the mechanical removal is easy with water, just water cleaning, what means high pressure cleaning, water high pressure cleaner. And another one is the chemical bond. The definition is the surface appears to be dirty because it has been modified by chemical transformation. The chemical bond soilings can be cleaned with mechanical removal, what means particle blasting, for example, or chemical change, reversing the chemical change by heating with a flame or with hot water, for example, or you can remove it with modifying the chemical reactions, for example, by stripping detergent with chemicals. The main soilings we are faced, stone surfaces outside, are microbiological growth, for example, which can be algae, lichen, moss, fungus, or bacteria. As you can see here, these examples with some of them are cleaned and not cleaned bricks, sandstone and limestone and different stones. Another soiling we are talking today is more hard to removable. These are crusts, for example. We have black crusts, as you can see here on the right picture, or here in the middle, or underneath here. Or there can be paint and graffiti, which is not removable by, for example, just with a high pressure cleaner or by water. There can be, there are so many examples. There can be a lime scale by water which dripped out from the joints, for example. And so all these very hard layers are also soilings, which we're talking later, removable by microparticle blasting. So first now, we would like to show you this technique, this technology. It's called, as you can see on the picture, that's a hot water high pressure cleaner. The functional principles is, as I said before, the mechanical is pressurized water is pulled out of a nozzle, which variable force and volume cleaning with impact pressure. And additional to this water jet, of course, you can add the temperature, because with this machine we can heat up the water to 95 degrees Celsius to increase the cleaning effect. And as you can see here, it's named chemical because this is from another presentation. But in stone cleaning, we as company culture, we are not using any kinds of detergents or chemicals for stone cleaning. Of course, in our product range, there are a lot of products, but they are more for maintenance cleaning, like floors, stone floors or whatever. We also have facade cleaners, but in all our projects which we have done in the last 40 years, we never used chemicals for stone facades or anything like that. We are only cleaning with water or with particles. So here you have a better image of such a machine. As I said, this is so-called, that's a professional hot water high pressure cleaner, which has additional a steam mode. I will explain you that later. A steam mode. Not all of machines of this type has that. Is good because you can higher the temperature on 145 degrees to have real steam and not only hot water high pressure. That's a difference. And on the right side, there is a smaller machine that's called a steam cleaner. This small machine we are using most for statues or smaller objects which you have in your workshop, for example. The applications of water cleaning or steam cleaning can be very gentle, but also very aggressive removal of soiling. Yeah? So because this is a tool or a machine which is very flexible in all parameters like pressure, and from very high to very slow. So you have to be very careful what adjustments you have at the machine. The water or the steam jet adapts to every possible surface profile. That's a positive. All four cleaning factors, as we said before, the time, chemical, mechanical, and temperature can be used variably and in a wide range. Flexible, because we have a nozzle spray which can be changed. And of course, as I said, the pressure and the flow rate can be changed. Higher temperature is also very good because you can sterilize the surface or the subsurface. We found out in the last months and years more and more that we can avoid using chemicals for regrowing of biological soilings like algae or lichens, because with our 95 degrees Celsius, we can eliminate all these biological growth and avoid regrowth. I will show you later one example in a movie from Vietnam. I know from my experience that a lot of people are afraid or worry about these machines. I know they are called high pressure cleaners, but believe me, you also can work very gentle and very sensitive with these very, very fine for sensitive surfaces with these machines. On this image, you can see what is important to know on that machine concerning the pressure. If you hear that you have a high pressure cleaner with, for example, let's say 200 bar, that sounds first a lot, and of course 200 bar on the surface would be destroying everything. So that's why it's important to know that if you see this number in a catalog or in advertising or anywhere else, this is just the pressure in the pump. So if you talk about a high pressure cleaner with 200 bar, this is the pump pressure. But because of internal resistances, we have we lose pressure until it's in the nozzle. That's why we are sometimes talking about nozzle pressure, which is maybe round about the half of the pump pressure. So, and then until it's the water jet is impacts on your surface, there are these four factors responsible for your real impact pressure or surface pressure, because the spraying distance is very important. This means it's a big difference if you're just 5 centimeter or 20 centimeter before your wall. The spraying angle is also very important, because the spraying angle of your nozzle is normally, the standard angle is 25 degrees. Normally it's a flat spray nozzle. And sometimes we have also soft spray nozzles which have 40 degrees of a spray, which are much more gentle than the standard nozzles. And then additional, the nozzle size, of course, and the flow rate. How much water your pump pumps through the machine is also very important to know the impact pressure. And if I talk about the impact pressure, the most people I train or when I do a demonstration outside and I explain the machines are impressed or surprised is that, for example, a real professional high pressure cleaner with, let's say, 200 bar has only a surface pressure of 1.5 to 2 bar. A lot of people are really surprised about that information, because 2 bar, the water jet with 2 bar is really sensitive. It's very gentle to sensitive surfaces. And if we are working in the steam mode, we are reducing this to 0.5 bar. On this diagram, you can see if you have, for example, a 1,200 liter machine, 1,200 liter per hour is the machine you have seen before in the picture. With a spraying distance here, let's say, which is normal, let's say 16 centimeter, and you go up and you are here less than 2 bar surface pressure. So don't forget this. So it's very important when you spray with which distance you have from the wall. As I said before, the nozzle geometry is also important, because high pressure cleaner is not high pressure cleaner. It's important if you want to work with which accessories you're working, because there are dozens of different nozzles on the market, and I would like to give you this information that you should show that you should only work with a standard nozzle 25 degrees Celsius or a gentle nozzle with 40 degrees. So this is a flat spray nozzle. Yeah? Please do not use rotation nozzles or point nozzles. Yeah? They are too aggressive. I will show you that on the next picture. For this one, for example, yeah? This is a rotation nozzle. I see it many times all around the world that people are using these rotation nozzles because they are very quick. You will have a very quick cleaning result, but they are very aggressive because they have a point spray, and it's rotating to have more working space, but it's very aggressive. So please avoid this nozzle. Don't use this one. After the technology I explained to you with these machines, I would like to give you just some examples to see and understand better the results and how it looks like when you're working with these machines. As you have seen before, the machines are more or less heavy. Normally they stay on the ground. They have roundabout, the weight is 200 kilogram roundabout. But it can easily stay on the ground because you can extend your high pressure hose up to 200 meter if necessary, and you will still have enough pressure and temperature to do your cleaning job. This example was one of my projects last year in Vietnam. It was the main gate. It's called Noon Gate of the Imperial Palace in Hue. And as you can see, the main facade was mainly made of brick. Some parts were made of limestone. And of course, because due the very high humidity in Vietnam, there is a lot of these biological growth. In this case, it was algae which we found, and mainly, and the authorities and the director of the Imperial Palace was very happy to have these new technologies and machines there for their use, because in the past they were using only brushes and very strong chemicals, biocides, every few years to remove these algae, which of course causes environmental problems, and it's not necessary to do this cleaning job with biocides, because as you can see, if we can do the job just with hot water or steam. In this case, I would like to show you a short movie, a 2-minute movie about this project.
có thể nói là cái quần thể di tích cố đô Huế cũng là cái quần thể lớn nhất của Việt Nam hiện nay, nó được bảo tồn tương đối toàn vẹn. Ngọ Môn là cái cổng chính của Hoàng cung Huế, và tất cả du khách đến tham quan Hoàng cung Huế đều đi qua cái cổng này. Được xây dựng từ năm 1833 dưới thời vua Minh Mạng. Thì đến nay Ngọ Môn đã có cái lịch sử đến 186 năm. Ngọ Môn đã trải qua một số lần trùng tu, nhưng cái lần trùng tu gần đây nhất thì cũng đã 95 năm, và hiện nay thì chúng tôi đang tiến hành đại trùng tu cái công trình này. Chúng tôi cũng tính toán rằng là cùng với cái việc đại trùng tu công trình này thì chúng tôi sẽ áp dụng cái công nghệ capture để làm sạch cái bề mặt của công trình.
We are in the middle of our new cleaning project here in Vietnam. In the city of Hue, we are cleaning the Noon Gate in the Imperial Palace. The cleaning method we choose for this building made of brick and limestone is steam cleaning. For this we are using a hot water high pressure cleaner, a super class hot water high pressure cleaner, and we are working with reduced pressure and the maximum temperature to remove the biological soiling.
After that movie from Hue, Vietnam, I would like to show you just some more examples what we have done in the last months and years. For example, this one is the Emperor Wilhelm Monument in Porta Westfalica in Germany. As you can see, we are also using rope access many times if we do a cleaning by steam or water, because it's not necessary to erect mainly very expensive scaffolding. So rope access is a good alternative if you just want to do cleaning. Or this one is the Aachen Cathedral, also in Germany. This cathedral was the first German UNESCO protected site, and was a very nice project we had with a cooperation, a cleaning project with the UNESCO in 2015. And as you can see on the right picture underneath, the very big difference between before and after removing the biological growth of moss, lichens, algae, bacteria, only with steam. Low pressure, only steam, no detergents or biocides used. That example is the called Hermann's Monument. This statue is the biggest statue in Germany. It was the biggest in the world until they erected the Statue of Liberty in New York. And we just gave a warm shower to the statue, and the base made of sandstone, as you can see in the middle picture, is cleaned by steam, and we removed the biological growth. By the way, at this project we were supported by Mr. Sushan Shiv Hari Rana, which you can see on the right picture. And thank you very much, Sushan, for your support and your stay here in Germany. Another example was this mausoleum in New York City. It was at the Greenwood Cemetery in New York, which has hundreds of these very beautiful mausoleums, never have been cleaned before. And just as you can see on this picture, there's a huge difference after cleaning with the steam, and nothing else happened, just the cleaning and removal of the biological growth. That's another one also at Greenwood Cemetery, a nice before and after, just with steam. And here are some more examples from different surfaces, different stones, limestone, sandstone, granite, of course, and yeah. And as you can see, as I said before, we are working with rope access, which is not a problem with this technology. Also, as you can see in the middle picture, there is a lift, a huge mobile platform, can also be used, or classic scaffolding. Okay, that was the jet, the water jet, the high pressure cleaner and steam cleaning. And now I always say, for all kinds of dirt which cannot be removed by water or steam, we are using the particle blasting. The bad name of that was or is sand blasting, which is still in use, which I don't like, because there's a huge difference between sand blasting and the method we are using today. The restorers and conservators here in Germany prefer more the word, it's a long one, but they prefer that. It's called low pressure microparticle blasting. Sandblasting was more in the 70s and 80s, for example, which they have used very, very rough sand with high pressure, and they were destroying a lot of surfaces and monuments with that technique, because in the past there were a lot of people who don't care so much as we do today. And that's why we prefer to have a difference in the name today, the low pressure microparticle blasting, but sometimes only called particle blasting. As you can see, the principle is that you have an air compressor, and with your air hose, you're going with our technology, with our blasting gun, you're going directly with the hose in the gun. I will explain you later that it's an injection gun. And your abrasive, so your powder or your sand, can be sucked up from a bucket or a bag directly to the operator with the gun in his hand. The functional principles, of course, as I said before, is mechanical. So the definition is microparticles are propelled with compressed air through a nozzle at high speeds, cleaning with an abriding action. Very gentle to very aggressive removal of soiling, depending on the parameters pressure, which is adjusted at the machine, and very important, the used abrasive or the used blasting media. We're talking later about that, because there are really hundreds different blasting medias on the market, very soft ones, very hard ones, and you have to choose the right one for each job. It's very flexible because you can change nozzle sizes. Of course, you can change the pressure, the air pressure, you can change the airflow, and as I said, the types of particles. Over 2,000 are available on the market worldwide. More or less, you can blast everything what is powder. If you want, you can use sugar or coffee powder or whatever. But of course, there are some which are more in use and some are less. I will show you later my favorite one, which is good for a lot of jobs. So this low pressure microparticle blasting method is shared in three, let's say, different main technologies. So there are the injection guns. I also show you from other companies, from competitors, which are available on the market. So as I explained before, you can see the gun, and you connect your air hose on here, and this long hose with this lens will go in your bucket where you can suck up the powder. So that's a very lightweight, easy handling tool, and very flexible, as we said, because you can blast every powder you have. On the second picture, you see pressure vessels. These are more complicated machines. There are a lot of things you have to take care. Just one example is humidity. These pressure vessels do not like humidity, and if you have an air compressor, for example, without an air after cooler, oil and water separator, then you will have water and oil in your air hose, which goes through that vessel and blocks the whole system. So, and then it needs a lot of time to clean it out and to continue with your work. That's why we prefer these injection guns much more than these pressure vessel systems. And as you can see on the pictures, the machine, it is like it looks like. It is very heavy. It's between 50 and more than 100 kilogram, and some of them you need 2 persons for transportation and all that. But they are still on the market and in use, and yeah, for smaller and bigger surfaces. So as you can see, there are smaller machines which have only 20-liter capacity, and some of them have 100-liter capacity for your blasting powder, which you fill in here. And these are the small ones. The third technology is called the micro vessels, which have normally a volume between, like these two have a 1-liter tank for your blasting media, and bigger ones have up to 10-liter, and the nozzle size is between 0.8 millimeter and 4 millimeter. So standard is 1 or 2 millimeter are the standard nozzle sizes, for example, for these technologies. And for sure, it depends on your building, what you have. If you have a smooth and flat surface, you should clean it with a bigger diameter of the nozzle. And if you have small statues and fine stonemason artwork, you should minimize your nozzle. That's why if you use this method, normally you should have different machines, as you can see here in the picture. So some with bigger nozzles and some smaller to have a good cleaning result. Here's just a picture of one example. That's my colleague cleaning these lion head with detailed work. So he chose a smaller nozzle for this job. And that was the cathedral in Berlin. And on the right side, on the right picture, you can see one of the smallest nozzles which are there in the market, with a round about 1 millimeter diameter nozzle. as I said before, there are really hundreds of different blasting medias on the market, and for sure, you in India or other people have normally limited access. They have their own regional products, and you have to check your market, what you have for blasting. And we here in Europe, we are using a lot of time, and I would say in 80 to 90% of all cases of all projects I'm using this. It's so-called aluminium silicate. Aluminium silicate is a byproduct in the iron factories by producing iron, and so it's a very cheap abrasive. It's iron-free. Very important that you should choose a supplier which sells this product iron-free. But aluminium silicate has a hardness in Mohs between 6 and 7, so it's like glass powder. It's like crushed glass powder. On the left side of my presentation is the detailed or the more detailed specifications of this abrasive. But also you can come back to me afterwards if you are interested in this media. So it's not from my company. We also buy this by a special abrasive media supplier. But I would like to share this information with you. That's the one in Germany or in Europe which is most used. Aluminium silicate. Additionally, I would like to give you the information that if you do these blastings, important is the granule size. And for stones, normally we are not using powder which is bigger than 200 micrometers. So 0.2 millimeter is or should be the maximum of your powder. The best is between 50 and 100 micrometer, has normally the best result, the cleaning result, for example, to remove these black crusts or graffiti or paint from stone surfaces. And here you can see some examples what we have done. That, for example, is in Egypt. This is so far our oldest monument I have worked with. It's the 3,300-year-old Colossus of Memnon in the Valley of the Kings. And we have used this injection gun, but not with not with aluminium silicate as an abrasive. There it was called calcium carbonate. So stone powders are also on the market and good for some cleaning jobs. And another example was this building here. That's the National Library in Athens in Greece. It's made of marble and limestone. And as you can see here, the huge difference before and after cleaning. And on the left side, one of the employees working with the gun, and also on the right side, the black before surface and the white marble afterwards. Some more application examples where you can see here on the left side on top is when we do a testing. We always do, of course, testings before we choose the method, and we are testing all the different parameters and abrasives to make sure that we have no damage on the surface, because of course this has first priority. On the right side you can see graffiti removal, that was on granite. Or underneath on the left side, that was like corrosion of a fountain. That's a fountain which is covered with a corrosion from iron or from steel, and it was marble underneath. In the middle, you can see these black crusts. That was in a church in New York, or again, graffiti on the right side. In my presentations, which can be handed over by Mrs. Padma Rohila, are also 2 or 3 links where you can find the website. The first link is the website from us with our cultural sponsoring program, where you can find most of the pictures and movies and descriptions of most of the projects we did so far. Also a YouTube link where there are some more movies from our other projects. And at the end, there is a link to our hot water high pressure cleaners on the website, on the Indian website, if you have or interested in to see more details about this machine. Additional, you can see here my contact. I would be very happy if you have further questions also after that presentation. You can call or write me at any time you want. I would like to support you with my knowledge and would like to share my experience I collected from all around the world with you. And so please do not hesitate to contact me or write me. Yeah? And finally, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for listening, and forgive me for the technical problems we had. And I hope it was interesting for you the last hour, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I start with the first question. Here it's written, how can we use water steam as a steam cleaning on weak, weathered and fragile stone or brick surface? As I said before, if I could do a demonstration, you would be impressed and surprised how sensitive this steam is. We have cleaned also, as I said, sandstone many times, which was very weak and damaged on the surface. But for sure, sometimes it's not possible, and sometimes we have to do or to use strengthener to make the sandstone more strong, but this is a job which is not executed by myself. For example, then this has to be done by stone conservators. So sometimes the stones, if they are too weak, they have to be strengthened before. But for this, you have to do always a testing just to make sure if the surface is strong enough. Next question.
On a fragile stone, can you do it with jet? Can you work with jet on a fragile stone surface?
That's the same question, yeah? As a fragile...
I think if it's a fragile stone surface, can we attempt to use jet on that?
Yeah, yes, you can. As I said before, if it's damaged or weak, you can do strengthening before, or if it's hard enough, then you also can use the steam. The steam is really really soft. There, please do not think that it has something to do with a high pressure cleaner. I don't know everybody who had a high pressure cleaner in his hand. The steam cleaning is really totally different. There is no back pressure and nothing. It's very gentle. But if you want to test it, you have to ask. If you rent or buy one of these machines, whatever, you have to ask for professional hot water high pressure cleaner with steam mode. Very important, because some of them do not have steam mode.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what is the suitable cleaning method for cleaning vegetation in coastal areas? Areas where there is more moisture content, the relative humidity is pretty high. In those areas, if you have to clean the vegetation, what is the most suitable method for biological growth cleaning?
For biological growth, it will be always the steam or either hot water high pressure cleaner or steam mode. It's always the first choice. Of course, if it's very high humidity area, the algae or the bacteria will come back after, I cannot tell you, maybe 5 years. It will come back very, very quick, or it can be come back very quick. In this case, you should think about an additional treatment of biocides, but in this case, you have to collect your own experience. So because we are not supporting these products, and we are not selling or producing these kind of products. So we can give you the possibility to remove it, and then you have to see how fast it will come back, the regrowth. If you want to extend this period of time, you can use additional biocides.
Okay. Everyone, just a small request. You can raise your hands or unmute yourself and ask questions, because the chat facility, unfortunately, I don't know, for some reason is not working. But please raise hand. Just I can see you if you raise hand, and I can always pick up that question, or you could unmute yourself and ask that question. The next question is about whether particle blasting has any abrasive effect.
Yeah. For sure, particle blasting has an abrasive effect, because this uprighting effect is what we want. But you, with your operator and with your choice of blasting media, you have to reduce the abrasive effect to a minimum, to avoid to have any abrasion on the original surface. So this is, as I said before, our first priority all the time. We want to remove the soiling, but without any roughening of the original surface. So if you see with your eye any change of the surface, of the original surface, then you are too strong. You choose the wrong material, your powder is too rough, or you choose too much pressure. But with the blasting media, I recommended you, which the granule size should not be bigger than maximum 200, better 50 to 100 micrometer, and a pressure with your particle blasting machine, which should not be more than 2 bar, is safe enough for all surfaces. So we are using this method on really on all kinds of surfaces.
Yeah. The next question is, how do you assess this, whether your blasting is fine, whether it's the perfect thing?
If I understand this question right, the question is how to make sure if it's the right adjustment and media, right? Yeah, okay. For sure, as I said, you always have to do a test before. There was never, in my projects, but I also know the restoration community, there was never a project without a test before. You have to go there, you have to take your equipment, You have to inspect and the surface, the condition of the stone, and check the soiling and the degree of soiling, and then you have to do your tests. You have to take different powders with you. You should take at a different blasting media. You should have different granule sizes and different the hardness of the blasting media is important. Yeah, take some with you, some soft, some medium, and some strong ones, and then you do tests. And then you will see, and sometimes you have to do examinations also under the microscope because to see if you are producing any roughness on the surface or not. So please make sure that you do testing and make sure that you're not roughening the surface.
Thank you. Any other questions? Please raise hand so you can unmute yourself and ask. Any other question? There's nothing in the chat box. If you're not able to chat, just raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask the question.
What was the abrasive for the graffiti, please? Anupam.
Yeah, Anupam has the question. Yeah, we can hear you. Will you repeat the question?
What was the abrasive for the graffiti?
Yeah.
The abrasive used for removing the graffiti.
For the graffiti, we also used the aluminium silicate, what was in the presentation before. As I said, that's my favorite one. So in 90% of all cases, we are working with this aluminium silicate. And diameter 100 to 200 micrometer. And sometimes we have calcium carbonate, which is crushed limestone, which is also available here. And as I said, you have to check your market in India, what is available there. But I'm sure there are many companies who sell these plastic media worldwide, and it's very cheap. For example, 1 ton, the 1,000 kilogram costs between 500 and 700 euro. So that's here in Europe, and more or less that's not too much.
It does not leave any white launching on the surface?
No, that should not happen. No.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you're interested, you can send me your email, and I can send you some test reports which I have done in the last years, where you can see the testing pictures from different medias we have tested on the stones. So if you're interested.
What about aluminum oxide?
Pardon?
What about aluminum oxide?
Yeah, of course, that's also possible. Just far as I know, aluminum oxide is a very expensive blasting media, and normally used here in Europe only for smaller objects like statues. But if you have a big facade and you need a few thousand kilogram of this powder, then aluminium oxide is too expensive. And nearly the same result or the same effect has this aluminium silicate.
Any other question, anyone?
This is Devanshi.
Go ahead,
Is there any specific blasting media for specific surfaces, or aluminum silicate used for major blasting surfaces, for blasting major surfaces? Like you said that in 80 to 90% cases you use aluminum silicate. Are there any specific kinds of blasting media for different surfaces? Like for stone and brick, you should have a separate one for them, right?
Yeah, okay. I think what she wants to know is if there is any way of knowing what is the best blasting material to be used given a surface. If there's a ready reference, like if it's brick, you would prefer this. If it's stone, you would prefer this. That's the question.
Yeah. This is a thing you should collect your own experience. You cannot. I would not like to give you a recommendation, a fully fixed recommendation where it says this stone has to be cleaned by this powder, because the stones are so different. Marble is not marble. Granite is not granite. Sandstone or brick. There can be so many differences in the hardness of the material of the stone and the condition concerning or due to weathering, for example. Yeah. As I said, aluminium silicate is a good one, which covers the most of the applications. But you should have always with you some others like softer ones. As I said, calcium carbonate, for example, is a good alternative. It's on the scale of Mohs, has between 3 and 4. Aluminium silicate is 6 to 7. At the scale of Mohs is between 1 to 10. For everybody who don't know the scale of Mohs, 10 is diamond. So aluminium silicate has 6 to 7, and stone powders can be used. But as I said, you have to make tests and you have to collect your own experience. Huh?
Yeah. Thank you. Any other question?
Oh, one last one.
Okay, Anupam, go ahead.
So when you do the steam cleaning, do you follow that up with a water lance or something, or do you just the steam does the job?
As you have maybe seen it in the video from Vietnam, there is water coming with the steam, so it's called or you can call it wet steam, because the steam can be very dry and the steam can be very wet, we say here, and with this machine or this technology, you also have a water flow who brings or takes down the loosened biological growth to the ground. Because if you would have a very dry steam, you would loosen it, but it will not can be flushed down on the ground. So it's a 2-in-1 machine, let's say. You can have it in one treatment, removing and flushing down.
Excellent. And you don't put any biocide with the
no, nothing. Only steam. Very natural, environmental friendly. Only steam.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other question?
Last question, myself Nigam from Dehradun.
Please.
Can we use particle blasting for lime graffiti on lime plaster? Very good quality lime plaster. Can we use?
As I always say, you have to do a test. I would do a test if you would nearby me. I would come around and do it together with you a test. It's really difficult for me to tell you if it's working or not working. I have in 20%, let's say, of my testings I do outside, I have bad results. I have also testings where I say, okay, with this method we cannot clean it. Especially for one example is if you have natural stone and your black crust, which can be on top, is more hard than the stone. It can be if the stone is very soft and the soiling is very hard, then it can be very, very difficult to remove it with particle blasting. As you said, your lime plaster is not very strong, as I know. And the graffiti, the paint, it depends on what kind of paint you have, what kind of graffiti, and how old it is also important. If it's more or less a fresh graffiti or it's very old, it can be different. But it can be that the graffiti is more strong than your lime plaster. Then it can be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Or raise your hand, I can see you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much, Padma. Thank you for your support. I couldn't do that job without you.
I think it's first time for everyone. I think we managed pretty well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was an honor for me.
Thank you everyone for joining us. I think we had a very nice session. See you again. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Keep in touch.